Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. My name is Randy Schrader, and I consider it to be an absolute privilege for me to introduce to you a company called Lev AI. That stands for Leveraging Artificial Intelligence. Truly, the future in your hands. It is in yours, and it is in mine. It is in ours because we now propose to deliver to the world accessible artificial intelligence. Let us quickly glance back at a little bit of memory. I recall in 1982 or 83, I had a friend named Andy Kay, and Andy was the founder of a company called Kpro Computers. He believed that it would dominate the world. And of course, it did not, the lot did not fall to Andy Kay. It fell to Stephen Jobs and to others. But I recall in that first session, there I saw a computer sitting on his desk. Our conversation was not about computers. That happened to be his business. And I recall seeing the computer on his desk, and Andy said, Randy, the entire world will adopt computerization. That's what he said. The entire world will adopt computerization. And it sort of just bounced off of my brain. As I look back at that conversation, I now realize that not just the entire world, but that I literally would have no choice, that I would be compelled by societal norms and by the status of the global movement forward. I would be compelled to adopt computerization or stay behind the world as it moved forward. Now, I had two choices. I could adopt it for my own use, which I did, or I could have chosen to become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur just a little more quickly. I didn't do that. I missed that chance. You see, becoming a catalyst to other people's use, become a conduit to their utilization of that technology would have had unbelievable results. How unbelievable? Well, take a look at Bill Gates. Look at the fortunes created. You said, wait a minute, Randy, you weren't the creator of the technology. No. But once the technology was created, someone, some group of people, some leadership structure had to become the catalyst to the widespread use. And those people who became that catalyst, they're among the wealthiest families in the world today. I remember a couple of years later, I had another opportunity, the second bite of the apple, when I had my first 128 kps dial-up modem, and I could hear that crinkling in the background like a fax machine. And as I dialed up and then I sat and I waited agonizingly for that website to open, I had no way. I didn't have the vision. My field of vision was too limited. I could not see the future. As I hope today you will be able to see with me the future. I couldn't see that I literally would have no choice. I must adopt AI, or excuse me, I must adopt online computing or be left behind. I had to. It wasn't one of my choices. It was thrust upon me. Well, once again, I simply used the online services. I did not become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur a bit more quickly. And so I had a modest change in outcome and life experience, but not an earth-shaking one. Well, today, folks, welcome to Lev AI. This is your opportunity to become a catalyst in the transformation of a technology being relatively obscure to becoming thrust upon society as certainly and as surely as was computerization and the internet. This is not an opportunity similar to anything you've had a chance to participate in before. This is not a simple percentage of the population who will embrace. This is everyone who will be mandated to embrace. And the question is simply, who among us will be the catalyst to other people's use? That is the operable question of this moment. And I want to, gosh, I wish I could just snap my fingers and cause you all to sit up and pay close, careful attention. Don't miss a moment of this. Only 16 days ago, we had our first introductory session, a handful of people under NDA, non-disclosure agreements. And today that has exploded to more than 8,200 early adopters. Please make a note on your calendar, write it down and say you heard it here first. Fewer than 30 days from now, that will be 82,000 or more. The question is who will be the conduit to their use and how quickly will that 82,000 turn into some multitude thereof? Well, welcome to Leverage AI. It's a brand new company. Critically important then to point out that as one participates in new ventures, that is where the opportunity is most profound, where we get a chance to create the wave that others ride in the future, where we get a chance to create the foundation that others build upon. And yet we don't suffer any of the risks, typically a part and a parcel of that early positioning. Why? Because Lev AI operates in the ecosystem of, is owned by a gentleman named Terry LaCour, one of the finest operators in America and to a degree global business, a person who knows and understands how to bring products to market, both physical, tangible products and technologically advanced products, Terry understands the importance of providing proper legal support, providing proper financing. We have the opportunity to be at the genesis of a global initiative and yet not suffer the risks, typically a part and a parcel of that early positioning, because we have Terry guiding the boat. It is, I am so very, very grateful, excited, and I acknowledge proud. I know the word pride has its negative connotations, but I'm so proud that my son has been tapped by Terry to be the president of this company, announced about 2 weeks ago. Blake is an attorney, has many years of social commerce experience, was general counsel at a large direct selling company called Monavi, lived in Israel as their Israeli general manager, then in Portugal, where he ran the entire European business, then all of Latin America, North America, and Europe. Blake's next success was he became the CEO of Medical Marijuana Incorporated at a time when the end of the prohibition of cannabis was one of the hottest topics in the world. Certainly not a topic similar to the advent of AI, but it was a hot topic. It appealed to some parts of society. It wasn't something that we mandated on all, but Blake successfully navigated those waters, launched a great network marketing company called Canaway. I was part of that with him. His non-compete agreement just expired, giving him the eligibility and the possibility to be engaged by Mr. LaCour. I'm so thrilled they came together. We now have, under the imprimatur of Terry LaCour and all of his corporate strength, we have the day-to-day operational excellence, truly excellence of Blake. When I started talking about AI, and once there are so many parts of this conversation that I think are so remarkable that I wish we could have a conversation just about this for the next 30 minutes. This, according to not just anyone, but according to Sundar Pichai, one of the most brilliant men in the world, the CEO of Google, states that AI, artificial intelligence, is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. That's one of the most remarkable statements I've ever heard. What does it mean? Look back over your shoulder. Whatever created your greatest historic success was made possible by then existent technology. It did not include that which, according to Sundar Pichai is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past by utilizing this technology. One's greatest historic successes need only be a tiny foreshadowing of what successes can be. And here, I love this one. The deepest mind at DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, states the difference here with artificial intelligence is it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and maybe 10 times faster. That demands then that we look with a critical, discerning eye. But to my way of thinking, it demands that we look with a degree of urgency, because literally, like sands through the hourglass, there go the grains of sand of opportunity in the launching of a company called Lev AI, which is in fact destined for greatness. And every single day, a few more of those grains of sand of opportunity filter from the glass as a few more parts of a percentage point of the global population adopt and adapt and embrace artificial intelligence. Do not let it be that too many of those grains of sand filter from the top of the glass to the bottom of the glass until you occupy your position of prominence in a leadership structure that can bring it to the world. AI should not be feared. It should be harnessed. It should be leveraged to your benefit, the benefit of your family, of your business, of the people you care about. Here it states that 61% of professional marketers use AI already. Well, that's a large percentage of professional marketers, but what are they using? They're using a mixed bag, a little of this and a little of that. There is no one-stop shop until right now. Multiple applications that don't communicate very well one with another. And that is why, by the way, that next increase in sales figure, that looks good. That's not good. That should be 10 times that, maybe 100 times that, when people learn to leverage AI in a one-stop shop as opposed to trying to make applications communicate one with another that just don't. But let's think for a moment. What percentage of those 61% of professional marketers, and by the way, that's a tiny segment of overall society, about 7% of American society and a smaller percentage of global society are trying to utilize AI. We're now going to make that which they're trying to do so much easier, simpler, and more profitable, more enjoyable, and fun. But what percent of those professional marketers use a computer? It's 100%, isn't it? That's the same percent that will use AI. What percent of professional marketers are online? 100%. That's the same percent who will use AI. What percent of people in the world have computers? What percent of all people, even in the most destitute societies, what percent of all people have computers? That is the percent of people who will use artificial intelligence in the very near foreseeable future. What's the percentage of people in the world who use the internet? That's the percentage of people who will use artificial intelligence. The question is only this: will you be a conduit to their use, thereby earning royalties? That 38% increase in sales, get ready to see that be 10x or 100x when people learn to leverage AI through a simplified process that is designed to bring artificial intelligence to the masses. Yes, it is a highly sophisticated, technologically advanced process which could be delivered only to professional marketers. But that's not our dream. Our dream and our vision is to be the conduit to the widespread globalization of this concept. This is about bringing artificial information in an understandable form to the masses, not to millions, but to hundreds of millions and to potentially even more. 80% of entrepreneurs say AI gives them a competitive edge that will become 100. That's just those who are using, by the way. Those who are using that small percentage, using the mixed bag, that will go to 100% with a great big exclamation point. Lev AI, our company, Lev AI, leveraging artificial intelligence, makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses. Well, that's music to my ears. I'm an entrepreneur. I've spent my life launching, marketing, and growing businesses. And I know many of you have too. But now we can deliver the most extraordinary message of hope to those 388 million small business owners in the world who are trying to launch, market, and grow a business. We can be a conduit to the far more rapid escalation of that business, minus any expensive CMO agency, and no complicated tech skills are involved. A large percentage of business owners use some part of artificial intelligence now. The challenge is that they're using this piece and this piece. They're not having those pieces come together and talk. Here we provide a single solution which will satisfy CRM, customer relationship management, social media. In fact, it will solve many problems, and we'll discuss them in a moment. Maybe the most prominent problem facing all small business owners is having some methodology in place that would cause there to be a constant flow of new users of their service, new buyers of their product, new subscribers to their offering, whatever it is. No business survives and thrives by maintaining its existing customers. All businesses have that as foundational. That's what stabilizes the business. All growth is provoked by new customers, new users of the product or service. The great challenge then is learning to have that constant flow. When one comes to understand and learns how to properly leverage artificial intelligence through Lev AI, that will make, notice I didn't say it might or it can or it could, no, that will make building and maintaining a candidate or customer list far easier. That makes all else possible. Creates confidence about what to say to each candidate or customer throughout the engagement process. It removes barriers that make you feel stuck. And I'm going to come back around and talk about that a little bit more in a couple of moments. And it keeps you in front of customers to maximize results, removes the fear of failure. I smile every time that I read that bullet. How might we remove the fear of failure? Well, by introducing a process which eliminates the result being failure, to engage people in a proved predictable pattern of activities which results in success. That will remove the fear of failure and will build constant momentum. The Levi single solution to many problems. I look back over my life, and one of the mistakes that I made was I failed to realize when the very first social networks came out that one day, someday, and that day has come, one would be able to accurately predict one's future results by measuring one's influence. And one would be able to measure one's influence by looking at one's social media presence. I simply allowed it to occur. And the result is that I have a paltry, tiny little social media presence that is not at all reflective of what my life has been. Immediately upon utilizing this service, one begins to change that experience. How? Many business owners already operate a CRM or customer relationship management software. What it does not do is tell you what you need to know about the candidate. See, over my life, I spent, not invested, I spent the first half of my career trying to convince others to do something that I wanted them to do so that I could have a positive outcome. That's the truth. I was trying to convince others to do what I wanted them to do so that I could have a positive outcome. About 15 years ago, I bolted up in the night and I said, "Oh my gosh, Randy, you're going about this all wrong. You need to listen more and talk less. You need to find out what other people want and help them do what they want and let your outcome be as a secondary result of them accomplishing their goals." Wow, what a simple thought. A simple thought, but relatively difficult to execute until and unless your CRM, your customer relationship management software, does more. What if immediately upon doing a simple screenshot import of a contact, your AI solution through Lev AI were to immediately begin scanning all social media presences of every person added to that CRM? Now you know what the candidate wants. Far more important than knowing what you want. You know when they want it. That's a lot more important. You know what their hot buttons are. Lev AI will research your new contacts, suggest ways to engage. It will even create the initial introductory text. It'll say push send and guide you through what I've long described as a proved and predictable pattern of activities. And here's another important key in the industry I've been in for years, building teams in the direct selling world. We have always delivered products that, here's the truth, could be acquired someplace else for less money. In this case, the net cost of utilization of this company's processes and product and technology will, for many, perhaps even for most, be less than zero. Wait a minute, Randy, how can it be less than zero? Well, if you're currently using a CRM technology, you're probably paying more, almost certainly paying more just for your customer relationship management software than you are for our entire solution. Another reason that I state that the net cost of utilization will be net less than zero for so many is because one actually has the ability to instantly build websites, even in the absence of any technical knowledge. It's literally click, 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 7 clicks in, you have a fully published website on the World Wide Web. And this is not a simple self-replicating site as we might have experienced before in a direct selling company. No, this is a technologically rich, technologically advanced site, just like you'd have any tech firm build for you. You can assign shopping carts to it and on you go. You just don't have to pay anything extra for it. Reminders to build your business. One of the great advantages in my life, one of the blessings and gifts was years ago, I was fortunate to come in contact with a man named Nathan Ricks. Rest in peace, Nathan. And Nathan taught me some things that are indelibly etched in my mind. Randy, he said, there's a proved and predictable pattern of activities. There is no luck and there is no guesswork. If we do A, we will get B. And if we do B, we will get C. And if we don't, we don't. And he went on to say, and please know this, Randy, there are no new mistakes. There are new people making old mistakes, and there are old people making old mistakes. The single greatest mistake is being frozen behind a wall of fear, failing to act. I've had to think about that for a long time. And now I understand it with greater clarity. Most people who become an entrepreneur were first an employee. Most did not become an entrepreneur first. And so, as an employee, I was reactive to the demands of my employer, telling me when to work, where to work, what the assigned tasks are, how to report those tasks, and so on. I get involved in entrepreneurship, and suddenly I don't have those boundaries or borders. Suddenly, I must become proactive. The move between reactivity and proactivity winds up being quite difficult for many, and many never successfully transition, thereby finding themselves working at a job they'd rather not have. I imagine over the course of my career, the tremendous advantage of having your own side by side in your pocket teacher, coach, or trainer that has been loaded up with all of your leaders content so that you know exactly what to do and when to do it, so that you're reminded through the course of the day, oh yes, this is what I should be doing today. I had my new member orientation yesterday. I have 3 assignments, and now you get a prompt. Assignment number 1 is not done yet. Please complete and push send so that it goes to your sponsor or to your coach, your guide. Those daily reminders. See, I'm frequently now referred to as a leader. I'll tell you what I really am. I'm perhaps the most effective follower you're likely to encounter. I find people who are accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and who, for whatever reason, are willing to show me how to accomplish that same thing. Then I get exactly in the path. I don't look left, I don't look right, I don't look up, I don't look down, I follow. And I don't break around and go to my own path until such time as it's become evident to me and to others that I've become more effective at doing that which I was taught than the teacher was. Until that time, I stay exactly in the path. As I look back over my shoulder, I find out that too many people don't do that. They need that constant reminder to guide them back closer and closer to what I call the center line. I fly airplanes, and I have an instrument rating, and I am constantly reminding myself to get back to the center line, the center line, the center line. Being 1 degree off course can lead to problems. Constant reminders. And then you know what occurs? Cicero, so many years ago, said the skill to do comes from the doing. And so as I get those prompts, as I get the reminders, that makes it easier, not easy, but easier to do those things that are required to succeed. And each time I do one of those things that is required, according to Cicero and my own experience, then I will develop skill. If I develop more skill, I will have more confidence, I will have more poise, I will have a more proper self esteem, and I will no longer be frozen in fear, failing to make enough contacts to have the logically, predictably positive responses that I'm searching for. I think this is of almost immeasurable worth. I don't know if we could even quantify it. Over the course of my career, so many people simply did not successfully make the transition from reactive to proactive. How it would have helped if they'd had a middle ground, how it would have helped had I been able to provide them with a highly qualified candidate who had asked for information. Is it not obvious? It would be so much easier to respond to someone saying, I've heard a little bit about that company, product, or service. I have a desire for entrepreneurship, and I understand you can help. Will you help me? Isn't that a much easier conversation to react to? And so you see what I have is reactivity, proactivity, and now a little middle ground where I get to react to someone requesting information, and that guides me into the proactive behaviors which lead to skill development. Now, I've long been hesitant to utilize lead programs because if a person is paying for a lead and it doesn't produce the desired result, a new customer or a new business builder, that can lead to resentment. But what if there is no added cost? What if it is simply included in the program? Then there could only be upsides. A lot to this, folks. There's a lot to the Lev AI solution we've talked about already. And of course, there is more. Each plan includes your own AI twin, an avatar that looks like you, talks like you, walks like you, behaves like you, has your mannerisms. Give it any script or use your personalized GPT to create it. Notice I said personalized GPT. 700 million people logged into Chat GPT in the last week. They were looking for answers to questions. And the questions that they asked were responded, they received generic responses widely available on the internet. What if instead I am nearly giddy in my anticipation of this reality, the impending reality of my personalized GPT being loaded with content specifically to my enterprise, to our compensation plan, to our business model, or yours, whatever it is? Wow, that changes things pretty dramatically, doesn't it? And you can create the script, or you can, in fact, ask your personalized GPT to create it for you, and your twin can speak fluently in 150 languages. Now, in just a few days, I was told last night that sometime between September 1 and September 5 or 6, something in there, with the final drop dead date being around September 15th. I'm confident it won't go there. Sometime between September 1 and September 5, this company will go live. And when it goes live, it will go live with 2 product packages. A third will be added in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. Your AI video twin, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in 150 plus languages. And you can even use AI to generate your script, as I've just described. And by the way, Blake will describe final pricing tomorrow in the next corporate update, but these will be remarkably inexpensive, $50, $100. When one understands what all this can do, it is almost shocking that it can be delivered at that price. Certainly a dramatic change from the world of home-based business where one always has to explain away the high price. Here, one almost has to explain away the low price. It's unimaginable that so many services can be offered for so little. A personalized AI writing assistant for creating posts and emails. This part of the process to grow your social media presence. Many people, like me, have more than one business message that we deliver, and so I need more than one business profile. That available here. AI-powered social growth and engagement, this being the import of every candidate into my CRM, and immediately I get social media profiles so that I'm reacting to what a person wants to talk about, as opposed to trying to convince them to talk about what I want to talk about. That's not a subtle shift. That is a monumental shift, and it's the difference in success and failure for all of those people who don't like to feel like they're pushing anything on another. And that's a big percentage of the population. AI-powered social growth and engagement, growing our presence, as I've described. CRM with screenshot import and profile enrichment, granting you again the opportunity to react to what the candidate wants to discuss, not trying to provoke a conversation of your desire. Instant web builder, we've talked about that. Critically important that the enhanced CRM also has a funnel guiding a person through that proved and predictable pattern of activities, granting to each the legitimate chance to arrive at their correct conclusion in the shortest possible period of time. And then over 2 billion searchable prospects, candidates, granting to my new person the opportunity to ease the movement from reactivity to proactivity. And then just pause for 1 second, folks, bang the gong and ring the bell. For those who live at or near the top of the plan, you will actually have a conversant, interactive AI digital twin. I literally cannot wait. I am giddy in anticipation of finally being able to get my message delivered on a global scale as opposed to only being delivered to those who speak my language. And I am very aware that the problem is not that people in China don't speak English. The problem is I don't speak Chinese. I'm very aware the problem is not that some people in the Philippines can't understand English the way that I speak it. Not the problem. The problem is I don't speak Tagalog the way that they speak it. But starting next week, I'll be able to. And we'll be able to train your avatar, train mine on all of my 35 years of content stored here, suddenly becoming available all over the world at a snap of a finger in native language. Absolutely unbelievable. Unmatched value. I don't believe that the $300 figure does justice. I think that it will be much closer to the $800. People who are trying right now to utilize AI have this mixed bag, as I've described. They are spending more than $300 on various software packages and subscriptions each month trying to make it work. We bring that all in house. The total price of our solution is way less than anything you're looking at there. As I said, $100, $50. What is our market opportunity? Well, for a season of my life, I was involved in the weight loss business, and that was a big opportunity. But do more people use computers, or do more people want to lose weight? For a season of my life, I delivered a cholesterol reduction product that didn't cause muscle wasting, a fantastic product. Do more people want to lower their cholesterol, or do more people use computers and the internet? For a season of my life, I delivered the acai berry. We learned how to commercially harvest it in Brazil and deliver it to the world. Great. Are more people concerned about their ORAC value, or do more people use computers? Folks, you get the message. What is our market opportunity? The same number of people who use a computer, the same number of people who go online, that's the number of people who will use AI. And today, 96% of them don't. Our market opportunity is to be the conduit to their use. Now, at this moment in time, we find ourselves at the same place where I found myself meeting with Andy Kay those years ago. He knew, I didn't, he knew that I would be required to adopt computerization. The only question was, would I be a conduit, a catalyst in causing that adoption to happen more quickly among other people? Had I chosen to not simply use, but to be a conduit, my life experience would be different, as great as it's been. For those who choose to become a conduit to the use by others, of course, you'll be compensated for that. You become the introductory factor. Simply that. You introduce a person, you send them to this web session, or you send them a link, whatever it is. And they say, sure, I need that. I've been looking for it. And that's what you're going to hear over and over again. Yeah, I need that. I've been looking for it. Well, when they make the product price, the package purchase that is right for them, you'll be paid 50% of that first month purchase price. But there is again more. We don't do any artificial dilution of the dollar in so many businesses today. They'll see a product purchase price, a market basket, a product, a person spends $1,000 on a certain market basket of products, but only 5 or 6 or 700 volume points go into the compensation plan. We don't play that game. A dollar in, that dollar goes to the compensation plan, and there is no artificial reduction. There are a couple of different kinds of people who will really, really benefit. All will, but some will really benefit. One example of that, I have a friend who was once my family's nanny many years ago when she was a young teen. She went on to become a superstar. She starred in a movie with Tom Cruise. She and her partner won Dancing with the Stars. Millions of people know who she is. They know her face from all the magazine covers. And when she says, you should buy this because I approve of it, they do. She's called an influencer. There are many such. Any of you who know an influencer, or if you're an influencer, enroll that person, keep them on generation one. You'll earn 20% forever on all personally enrolled people. And those who have not a desire to build teams, but to recapitalize or to leverage their prominence, this is an extraordinarily attractive feature. Then there are those like me and many of you who have had a career of building teams, building leadership structures in depth. Here we have a simple 8-level unilevel payout plan, as indicated. All participants, all partners earn 20% on personally referred subscriptions, but then 4% through 7 additional generations of depth. Remember, 4% of cash. Now, whenever an idea is hot, the market tells you so. Well, the market has told us this is about the hottest idea in the world, from 16 people on a private restricted Zoom 16 days ago to over 8,200 people an hour ago, with literally the entire message being delivered word of mouth and without people yet being able to utilize the product that has created such enthusiasm. That will all change next week, but you can imagine how fast the volume might develop and how fast an organization might run so far deep. Here's one of the challenges. When an idea is red hot, there will be a flood of people and limited leadership to teach those people. It is requisite then that there be an infinity bonus that ties that scarce real leader, that causes that leader to work deeper and deeper and deeper, not being concerned about the bottom of a construct of volume, just working deeper and deeper until he or she's able to replicate themselves. This compensation plan does that with an extraordinary lucrative 4% infinity bonus. And then the final comp plan component, the leveraged matching bonus. When anyone in your enrollment tree in the first 4 generations earns any comp plan component, they earn an acquisition bonus, you get a matching bonus. They earn a team commission, you get a matching bonus. They earn a infinity payout and you get a matching bonus leveraged through 4 generations. This will create the largest checks in this company. And I believe that because now finally we're breaking into the real economy. We're not talking about some limited segment of society who have embraced, for example, the network marketing industry, or we're not talking about some limited segment of society who have embraced some particular product idea. I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. I want to become more physically fit. Now, we're not talking about an individual initiative. We're talking about widespread globalization, which is beginning and which cannot be stopped. And I simply ask that each of you pause and ask yourselves this question. Do you believe, based on what you've seen and heard, do you believe, based on the CEO of Google believing this is more profound than fire or electricity? Do you believe, based on the deepest mind at Deep Mind's opinions, that this will be bigger than the Industrial Revolution, maybe 10 times as fast? Well, if you believe that as I do, then ask yourself this question. Are you ready to lead the AI future with Lev AI? Are you ready to be a conduit to other people's use? And in so doing, are you ready to completely change not just your financial parameters, but the financial parameters of those who act upon your guidance and advice and choose to participate as well? Folks, if you have not yet completed the online registration, please do. You still get a free look for about a week. About a week from now, the company will go live and we'll then be required to purchase our product pack. You get a free look right now. Please don't let these days, these precious, precious days slip through your fingers. And also, I would encourage, so please ask whomever invited you here to receive the registration link and complete it now. You can start a business. We've had people be on this morning session and several hours later tonight at 9 o'clock, have 10 guests on the evening session and start a business in the first day. You can do that. Please leverage AI, but please leverage these moments of profound opportunity as we go closer and closer and closer to the formal launch, sometime between September 1 and September 5. And then also, please request that you receive the WhatsApp link so that you receive communications. And my friend Larry Lane is here. I've asked him to just join us this morning, log in, chime in, clean up any mess I've made, put your right points of emphasis on it. Larry, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Randy, absolutely. You never make a mess. You do such a great job. But yeah, I'm excited. I was one of the 14 people that Randy mentioned, 12 or 13 days ago My team's about to go over 6,000 people by the end of the day today. I've never seen anything grow so fast. But again, at the end of the day, you can take a free look, just like Randy said. AI is absolutely, I always say AI is the future, but Randy always says, no, AI is now. It's time to get in front of it and grow a massive team for the future. But yeah, I know you guys are going to have a big update tomorrow with Blake, our president. A little birdie told me you're going to be seeing the twins very, very soon, the AI twins. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there right now. We're coming into Christmas is going to be here before you know it. People are really looking. The gentleman, Barry Elrod, he told me about this. He had no idea if I was looking for a business, but he really hit me at the right time because I'm really into AI. I wanted to learn more about it, how it can grow your current business. But I think that AI will work with anything. Doesn't matter if you have a cryptocurrency, a product, if you have a brick and mortar business. This is technology that everybody on the planet is going to be using. This is your chance to get people to take a free look, reach out to somebody, ask them how they're doing, ask them what they're up to, and just tell them you got into a venture with AI. You want to show them a little bit more? Oh, by the way, here's a link. You can get a free sneak peek. But this is a timing right now. I had a gentleman last night. He came in through my friend Rodney. He wrote me a message this morning. I think he had signed up 8 or 9 people last night. He's on the Zoom right now. He wants to have 50 in by the end of the day. There's people out there in your network exactly like that. They're hungry. They want to build something. You just have to reach out first because like Randy said, when they show these twins and people see what we've got, we are going to put hundreds of thousands and eventually millions of people into this company. It is a technology company. It is AI. AI is going to continue to advance. It's going to get better and better. When we build a membership like this, we're educating people on AI. We're teaching people how to use it. We're showing them how they can use it to better their life and grow their businesses. We will grow right along with the trends and the technology. So timing is now. Make sure you take immediate action. Randy, I'll turn it back over to you, buddy.
Thank you, Larry. Folks, I wish I could snap my fingers and get my last 35 years of life's experience out of my head and into yours. I wish I could snap them one more time and get the last 65 years of life's experience into yours. Over the course of my career, I've had 2 moments that were potentially as profound as this one, and I didn't act on. I've had some good experiences, but I missed the 2 biggest chances in my life. I'm not going to miss this one. Please let us help you not miss it too. Larry, thanks for being here. God bless everybody, and we'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.
Ready.